Bit of an unusual video tonight, just me on the sofa rambling away. But I finally finished Resident Evil 2, Leon's A run. Just some thoughts, I'm just some spoiler-free thoughts. Even though it's an old game, I haven't played it, and I'd have been gutted if someone was spoiled it for me. But yeah, so it's a quick little spoiler-free, then I go to some spoilers afterwards. So first of all, I want to give a shout out to the optimization on this game, the performance. I played it on mainly on my handheld gaming PC, and I was getting about 120 FPS, high settings, looked amazing. I'll be honest with you, I haven't played a game in such a long time that's been optimized as well as that. On my actual gaming PC, it ran even better, but to have it running on a portable like that, 10 out of 10, deserves praise. Another huge pro is just the graphics themselves, so realistic. In my opinion, I think gaming's got away from what's important. So to me now, graphics don't really need to get any better than the graphics in this game. It doesn't look any worse than modern games, in my opinion. Obviously, it probably is a little bit easier to render indoor areas than huge open worlds, so it may not work for every game. But I just thought it looked great, ran great, and an even bigger shout out to the atmosphere. It might be the best atmosphere I've ever played in a game. I'm not a huge horror game person. I wasn't before this anyway. But the rain, the dark, the zombies, the police station, a few bits I'll get into later on, areas that are put class as spoilers, so good. The music, just the dread, in general, really, really good. Couldn't praise it enough. Actually surprised me how much I enjoyed it. Without going into spoilers, story side of things, good enough. I would say it is very entertaining. It doesn't let everything making complete total sense get in the way of an entertaining story, especially towards the end. There's a few unbelievable moments that I appreciated. It was enjoyable. To me, it's like a B movie sort of horror film. I enjoyed it a lot. I'm not going to complain. I didn't come to it from a masterpiece in writing. I didn't get a masterpiece in writing, but I got one enjoyable, fast-paced story. What I disliked, that some people will totally disagree with me, and that's absolutely fine, is some of the zombies took so long to die. I must have headshotted one 8 times, still alive. To me, that's just a little bit excessive, especially on standard difficulty. It was more frustrating than anything. And the puzzles, completely me thing, not the game. Just, I'm not a puzzle person. I give them all a go, then straight to Google, straight to YouTube. And I'm not going to hold that against the game, because that's just the way my brain is. I know how to do puzzles, but they're just not for me, if that makes sense. Now I'm going to go into a couple of spoilers. In about 5 seconds, I'll give a fair warning before they start. I'd have been gutted if I got spoiled on them, especially in the later areas in the game. So 3, 2, 1, you have been warned. Now the big spoiler, if you haven't seen it, is Mr. X, the tyrant who hunts you round. I actually found him more frustrating than scary. I found he was just in my way more than intimidating, if that makes sense. In the end, it's run around him. He really wasn't a big deal. Once I started playing the game the way it should have been, which is just kneecapping zombies, staggering them, running past them, that's all that I had to do. Stop playing like an action game, started playing like survival horror, much, much easier. The other spoiler then, I would say, are the areas you go in the second half of the game. So you go underneath the RPD in the parking station. I wouldn't say that's a spoiler. Then you go into the sewers. People online really slag the sewers off. I didn't mind them. A little bit confusing, but nothing too much. And that's for me. That's someone who really doesn't enjoy the backtracking puzzle side of things. But the coolest area I found was the laboratory underground. That was just so good. The new enemies introduced, those like vine zombies, really interesting. I'd probably watch some YouTube videos explaining the lore behind those. I thought that was excellent. Looked so cool. Atmosphere again, excellent. Sort of futuristic things all going on underneath Raccoon City. The reveal of the doctors, where the virus came from, spot on. And then another thing was Ada. I didn't really know anything about her. I knew she was a big character in Resident Evil because I've seen the advert for the DLC for 4. But her surviving the drop in the second half of the game is where I just had to suspend my disbelief. I didn't let it get in the way of good story. I knew she survived because of seeing her in the promo art for number 4, but that's when I sort of stopped taking the game seriously, but still enjoyed it a lot. It's like a cheesy horror movie in the end, which is probably what everyone knows is about. Not something I knew was like, but really enjoyed it. And then the final showdown with Mr. X when she just survives like a 2,000 feet drop. Does it ever explain? Someone let me know. Does it explain how she survives? Because I'd love to know. I'm curious to see if it does in number 4. But yeah, she slides the rocket launcher down. Perfect timing. One shot. Then you finally come up the doors at the end as the train turns up. So very convenient. But I enjoyed it a lot. I'm actually looking forward to playing 3. I know I would slag 3 off, but I got quite cheap, so I don't mind the fact it's short. But let me know. Should I do Claire B? Should I watch on YouTube maybe? Because as much as I enjoyed the game, I'm not a huge lover of the sort of like survival horror side of things. I can see myself loving 4 now because it's more action based. I can see myself really getting into that and replaying that a lot. But other than story beats, I'm not too keen on replaying it again, especially if it's not essential. I'd rather watch on YouTube when I'm doing like the dishes or something. Being a busy dad, that's something that would suit me a bit more. Yeah, let me know. 3 then 4, obviously. Then do I go 5, 6, 7, 8? I got the Revelations game. I got them all on Steam next to me. I don't see myself going back to 1, 0. I tried, can't get on with that game style at all. Not for me. Again, puzzles, slow movement, tank controls, not out of it. If you enjoyed this video, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what I should do next. Should I play the DLC modes for 2? Should I just skip straight to 3 and then 4? Should I do the B runs? I will do them if they're worth it. If someone can sort of not spoil it for me, but give me a little clue in the comments as to why it's worth it, I'm definitely open to that. But yeah, overall, really solid game. I'll probably give it an 8 out of 10, which is really strong for me, for someone that's not a huge lover of survival horror before this, and definitely not a huge fan of puzzles. To overcome them for me and still get that score, definitely recommend it. 100% get out there and buy it on sale. Much strong. 8 out of 10. Other than that, have a good evening.